land of the free.
You know, what should the person at home be writing down and saying, from this day forward, I'm going out to not only get testosterone, but also to do, just check off the boxes, doctor, of how people can start taking control of their health for themselves and their families?
Well, I think the first thing is they need to have a discussion with their doctor, and they have to understand their doctor is not trying to do something bad to them. So it's a matter of the patient having a good relationship with their doctor, and they need to look at their testosterone labs. So if you go to the website, nobodywantsyouhealthy.com, there's a link to my book. There's a response page you can fill out to reach me. I have a lot of podcast series on different aspects of illnesses, chronic illnesses people have that are due to low testosterone. And I also have copies of shows like the wonderful one I'm doing with you right now that they can look at as well. So if they have specific interest, they might find a podcast on that site. It's nobodywantsyouhealthy.com.
Yeah, you know what? Thank you, doctor, for what you're doing. And I know that you serve at the White House, and that means a lot to any physician to know that you've been able to reach that level of being able to provide health care for two presidents, President Obama and President Trump.
That's correct. So there is a cost associated with having the testosterone pellets 3 times a year if you're a man, 4 times a year if you're a woman. And the costs vary across the country, basically according to the overhead costs of the doctor's office. So it could range from, a few hundred in rural areas of Ohio to a few thousand in Manhattan. So it does vary that way. Insurance sometimes covers some of it, sometimes doesn't cover some of it. The insurance companies are trying to wrap their heads around the fact that you can make women much healthier, less heart attacks, less osteoporosis, less breast cancer by giving them testosterone. They haven't quite got there yet. At some point, the government's going to have to decide, do we want to keep this money train coming in from the pharma company that's funding the FDA by 65%, funding NIH research, paying my political campaign, or do we want to prevent the country from going bankrupt and just disintegrating into an unhealthy mess?
My final question before I let you go is, what is your hope for America?
My hope for America. My hope for America is that they believe in, I don't know if you want to call it God or karma or paying it forward, but they have to come to the realization that doing well for your fellow man and loving them to get them to do better and be healthier and be happier is all it takes for the world to be a great place for us to live in. And they have to get rid of that attraction to personal gain that hurts other people.
Well said, Doctor. Dr. Mark Richards, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. And I'm sure people will be getting in contact with you after watching this. And thank you for the consult. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, Kelly. You can email me if you want more information.
Oh, I will. Thank you. Thanks, Doctor. God bless you.
You're welcome
for being on America's Hope. We're back with more in just a moment. We thank our Dr. Mark Richards and Dr. Chad Savage. We hope you enjoyed our show tonight. And as always, wherever you are, keep hope alive. Good night, America. God bless.
Millions of dollars, but God had other plans.
Peter Lowe, the one-time drug dealer turned pastor, along with 2 others, will be executed at 12 midnight local time.
The next day, something strange happened. Someone came up to me and gave me this flyer about Jesus.
You can be in heaven, or you can be in hell. The choice is yours.
We're gonna walk straight out of here. Pretend to be the media.
This pathetic maggot got caught trying to escape my prison. Nobody escapes my prison.
He's a changed person. He's a new man.
I found Christ in here, and he forgave me.
I found Christ too.
My name is Peter Lowe, and I will be executed in 2 hours. Why am I being executed, you ask?
American thought leaders an opportunity to share their thoughts in a deep dive format where we can explore their ideas together. And so American Thought Leaders was born. The world's most brilliant thinkers believed that open discourse was the key to greatness. However, all around the world, we see that discourse is being stifled, and political agendas have subverted media. The Epoch Times launched its Global Thought Leaders program to bring back this great. As the host of American Thought Leaders, every week I interview some of the most intriguing minds on the most pressing issues of our time. Be sure to check out our new episodes every week.
Welcome to NTD Evening News. Our top story tonight, 3 more rulings from the Supreme Court. The decisions cover homeless encampments, federal agency powers, and the obstruction charge against January 6th defendants. Arlene Richards has the details on the court's decisions. One of the Supreme Court's rulings could impact hundreds of January 6th defendants, including former President Trump. A legal expert joins us to explore. President Biden confronted concerns about his age as his campaign responds to calls for him to drop out, and how former President Trump reacts as the two candidates hold dueling rallies a day after the showdown. Iris Tao reports. And now that the first presidential debate is behind us, how are Americans responding? Fiona G. asked voters about their takeaways from the debate and what they think the country needs now. Rulings posted by the court.
In another day of opinion releases, the Supreme Court made it harder to charge January 6 defendants with obstructing an official proceeding. Former Pennsylvania police officer Joseph Fisher challenged the DOJ's use of the statute after he was charged with obstruction in connection with the January 6 Capitol breach. Former President Trump faces 2 counts of the same charge in the D.C. case brought by special counsel Jack Smith. In a 6-3 decision, the court ruled that a 2002 law the Justice Department used to charge hundreds of January 6 participants was intended to apply only in circumstances involving tampering with evidence. Chief Justice John Roberts, joined by 4 conservative justices and liberal Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, wrote the opinion for the court. Roberts said the government's application of the law was not acceptable. He wrote, to prove a violation, the government must establish that the defendant impaired the availability or integrity for use in an official proceeding of records, documents, objects, or other things used in the proceeding. He further explained that although a subsection of the statute seems to include other forms of obstruction, it is linked to the intent of the statute, which is evidence tampering. Conservative Justice Amy Coney Barrett, joined by 2 liberal justices, wrote in the dissent that the statute was intended to cover a lot of different conduct. She admonished the majority for failing to respect what she believed to be Congress's intent when they wrote the statute. Fisher faces 7 criminal charges, only one of which is obstruction. Even if the obstruction charge is ultimately dismissed, the other charges will remain in place. The Supreme Court sent the matter back to the lower court to decide if Fisher's charge meets with the decision. Special counsel Jack Smith now has to decide if he will dismiss the 2 counts against Trump or move forward with them. His decision may depend on whether he can show that Trump tampered with documents. Smith has accused Trump of conspiring with others to submit a false slate of electors, which consists of documents, but it is unclear if he was involved in tampering. In other opinions released Friday, the court overturned.
And President Biden vowing to get back up while acknowledging concerns about his age after his debate with former President Trump last night drew criticism about his performance.
I know I'm not a young man. State the obvious. I don't walk as easy as I used to. I don't speak as smoothly as I used to. I don't debate as well as I used to. But I know what I do know. I know how to tell the truth. When you get knocked down, you get back up.
At his post-debate rally here in Raleigh, North Carolina, Biden repeats similar lines of attacks against Trump on issues including abortion, the economy, and January 6th.
The choice in this election is simple. Donald Trump will destroy our democracy. I will defend it.
Biden's campaign says Biden will not
And
drop
you're
out of the
destroying
race.
the goddamn
And supporters
country
here
as
who are
it is.
invited by the campaign say they still back Biden despite some disappointments about last night.
Biden's performance may not have been his best. Content was obvious. Biden is a honest, moral, thoughtful person.
Some of the moments
Bullshit.
early on in the debate widespread across social media, especially with my generation. It was kind of like not troubling, but more like concerning to watch and see like who will be our leader potentially in the next 4 years of our lives.
Biden could have been a little bit stronger, but I still agree with everything, all of his positions. But I hope people will see beyond that.
Former President Trump, meanwhile, also held a rally on Friday in Virginia, saying this about the debate.
We had a big victory. Joe Biden's problem is not his age. I know people that are much older than him that are doing unbelievable things.
While the first presidential debate is consequential to voters' perception, we're still 5 months away from November, and a lot of things could still shake up this race. The Supreme Court next Monday could release its final ruling on Trump's claim of presidential immunity from federal prosecution, and that's another likely topic to shape conversations about the election. Reporting from Raleigh, North Carolina, Iris Tao, NTD News.
Structured with the specific questions. I think he's no, I don't think I took anything away new that I already didn't know.
When they ask a question, and it's like they're reading off a teleprompter, and the answer doesn't make any sense. So no, I didn't get anything from it other than the current commander-in-chief is clearly not fit to lead this country. That's all I got out of it.
The disqualifying factor for Trump in general is the fact that he doesn't operate from a sense of morality.
There's the liberal democratic world against the tyrannical regimes. Biden is much better on supporting our allies than Trump is.
Well, it's clear that Joe Biden is not all there. That is pretty obvious. And Trump, I thought that he was. He should have done a lot better. He didn't answer a lot of the questions, precisely and concisely like he should have. But I mean, he clearly won the debate, though, in my opinion.
Biden is a truth teller. He tells the truth, and he believes in real things.
One of the candidates
Like
talking
the
about how there isn't
not
inflation
being
and there isn't a bad
in a
economy.
recession.
And everybody in my neighborhood will tell you there's
Like
inflation. There's
no
a really bad economy.
inflation?
It's really tough right now.
A lot of the criticisms I have on Biden are things I could also criticize Trump for. Biden has had a hyper expansionary fiscal policy with big deficits. So has Trump.
The country needs Biden or someone like Biden to lead it.
So get the country right first. Make sure it's in
You
a
ain't got
it's in a
nobody
surplus, not a deficit.
available.
Make sure your healthcare system's working. Make sure you look after your veterans. Make sure you look after your American people first. And then once you've got all that established, then you can bring everyone in. Trump has to win.
Adopted laws restricting or prohibiting the practice for minors. The law in Texas has been in effect since September 1st, 2023. The U.S. Supreme Court recently agreed to hear an appeal from the Biden administration attempting to block state bans. The case before the High Court involves
See,
a
this is
Tennessee
what the
law that
Biden
also restricts
administration
puberty
does.
blockers for minors. Opponents of the law say children will suffer without access to transgender procedures and hormone therapies. Proponents say the law is necessary to protect children who shouldn't make life-altering decisions they might later regret. Meanwhile, the Iowa Supreme Court today upheld the state's abortion ban. It told a lower court to dissolve a temporary block on the law. The ruling previews the ending of a years-long legal battle following the overturning of Roe v. Wade in 2022. In a 4-3 ruling, the Iowa justices reiterated that there is no constitutional right to abortion. Iowa law bans most abortions after about 6 weeks of pregnancy. Currently, 14 states have near total bans on abortions at all stages of pregnancy, and 3 ban the procedure at about 6 weeks.